But look, before we play May Money Madness with Lotto Star, we move into a different game this morning, which I'll tell you about in a sec. But we need to welcome to the studio first Mr. Charles Gray. Hello, Charlie.
Good morning, Darren. Good morning, team. It's great to be here today.
How many people call you Chuck?
My American friends call me Chuck.
Chuck,
There we go, yeah. Or Charlie, but Chuck's fine.
So who is Charlie Chuck Gray? He is the fundraising manager for the Peninsula School Feeding Association, who of course is the beneficiary of all the winnings won by you in May Money Madness with Lotto Star.
Yeah.
So welcome. And when I first heard about what it is that you do, I just thought I've worked with a lot of charities over my time, but there's few that I find more important than the one that you are fundraising for, Charles.
Okay.
This is so vital that, children are at school with a belly of food.
Yep.
And when you've got kids, I guess it's also puts things a bit more into perspective for you. You sit there, you worry about your kids at school, you worry about them being bullied, you worry about them fitting in, making friends. But I could imagine no worse feeling than a child sitting there at playground with nothing to eat.
And the organization has been around for over 60 years, Charles. I mean, you've been involved for 9 years. Do you find that with each year the challenge gets bigger and bigger?
Well, since I've been with the organization, it just seems to stay the same. That's a sad, and it is getting bigger, and especially with COVID over the past 2 years. It's just been absolutely rife. Poverty is actually it's astounding what's happening out there amongst the poorer communities. But yeah.
I checked out your website, and it really is, it's sad to know that 3 out of 4 children go to school hungry.
Is that the stats now?
Yes, that's research that was done by the University of Cape Town, and they show that 3 out of 4 children in the Western Cape go to school hungry every day.
That's 75% of our children.
So what are those numbers? What are we looking at here? I mean, 3 out of 4. How many kids do we have?
That's a good question. I have no idea, but there's many children in the Western Cape that are going to hungry. I can't give you the exact numbers, Darren. But we play a pivotal role. Back in 1958 when we were established, the government used to have a feeding program in place and stopped. They just stopped feeding, decided the schools are wasting money, and we started feeding children through the Rotary. The Rotary Club actually established us back then.
So now when you look at these numbers, when they say you can feed a child for a month for 60 Rand, and you look at what we spend on things, just a few little luxuries here, think of how many children can get fed. So for 60 Rand, that is 2 meals a day.
That's correct.
For the whole month.
Yep.
What is it? What are you feeding the kids?
What we do is we provide a set menu, which is prepared by volunteer food preparers at each school. So we got about 170 schools, which include FET colleges, early childhood development schools, primary schools, high schools. And these wonderful volunteer food preparers prepare the meals on our behalf. And that includes a breakfast, a nice maize meal for breakfast, hot, warm, cooked maize meal.
I could not go to school without having what we called millie meal porridge, maltabella. That was the best way to start your day.
And they get served their meal at 7:30 in the morning, and then a little bit later on in the day, around about 10. It's a bit early, but that's how we work with the government system. At 10 o'clock, they get a lunch, which could be samp and beans or soya mince and lentils and fish and rice. A very staple diet, but a nutritious diet that meets the child's RDA, 33% plus of a child's RDA.
Okay.
Nutritious meals. It was designed by a nutritionist, the menu. So these ladies prepare a different meal every day, and these kids have something to eat.
Yeah. So it's, as you say, it's specifically designed so that if this is going to be the child's last meal of the day, it's sort of sustainable for the rest of the day.
Most of the children, this is the only meals they get, which is quite sad. You know, over the school holidays, weekends, we sit and think, oh my goodness. Even, you know, if you come to a school, if you ever had to visit a school on a Monday morning, you'll understand how hungry children are out there, you know.
It's devastating. It really is. But you guys are making a huge impact, and you need quite a bit of money to feed every last child. And with the Lotto Stars May Money Madness, just in the past week, just from the winnings that Lotto Star have matched from everybody who won, the total was 219,250 Rand that has been raised for the Peninsula School feeding scheme, which translates to 384 children who will be fed for an entire year, which is just amazing.
Let's get that number up. Some
Yes,
more.
because we've got 2 more weeks to go. of
Well,
May
Yeah.
Money
we're
Madness.
absolutely delighted that we were selected as one of the charity of choice of this May Money Madness. You know, I'd just like to add that Lotto Star also gave us an additional 250,000 Rand to provide a school with a kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Stephen Road Primary in Lotus River, and we already received that funding from them. That's generosity of this donor. So we were delighted. So we can now provide a school with a kitchen, and us, because they were using a classroom, and you can use the classroom to teach instead. You know, so we're going to be able to provide them with a great kitchen. Plans are in place for the kitchen, and we're very excited about. The principal's delighted. I think the kids will also be delighted. And so our volunteer food preparers, you know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing with Lotto Star, they stick to their word. They don't mess about. They tell you they're going to give you the money, they give it to you the next day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
As long as it takes for an EFT to go through.
Yes.
That's it.
And the great news here is we've seen, look, what we try to do, because there's certain schools, you can find schools in impoverished areas, and not every child needs
Correct.
food. But there can be a school where every child needs, and there can be a school where 10% of the kids need. So we try to, as best as we could, not leave any child unfed at a particular school. So with this amount of money, there will now be 3 schools that benefit that will be fed for an entire year.
Wow.
And they are Itemba Primary, Observatory Junior, and Zonneblom Boys and Girls Primary School. They've been fed for an entire
Ah,
year.
that's amazing.
I know you said to us, look, you don't want to be the person to sit and choose and go, you. You said, we must just do it. I didn't want to do it either, so we had somebody else do it.
Okay, that's amazing. That's a lot of our corporate donors as well choose the Adopt a School program, where they select a school.
And then you take care of that school.
And as Darren said, some of the schools we don't feed the entire school, but you know the school, we go through an assessment when the school joins our program, and the principal and the teachers identify how many children are coming to school hungry, who are fainting in class, who are begging for pocket money, and aren't concentrating in the classroom. Because the impact, you know, a lot of people say, what do you do for education? We are driven by, we're inspired by the statement, you can't teach a hungry child.
Yeah.
And a child cannot concentrate in the classroom. They've got no energy, their immune systems are low, and there's an increase in dropout rate because they're just too weak to come to school. But our food plays an important role in building a child's energy, concentration, immune system, especially during COVID as well. I hate talking about this COVID thing, but a lot of kids, if you have a low immune system, you're very
vulnerable.
Vulnerable and susceptible to any form of disease. You know.
But it's that, as you say, I mean, you can't teach a hungry child. It's like you can't run before you walk. There's certain things that need to be in place for that end result. And if you're hungry, you ain't going to be teaching anything. So listen, Charles, stunning work. And we're going to check in with you every week that we do May Money Madness and keep you up to date with how many that we can do. If you are somebody who's just sitting in their car now going, 60 Rand, I want to feed a child for a month. It's 570 Rand, I want to feed a child for a year. Where do they go? What do they do?
The best place to go is to our website, which is www.psfa.org.za, or they can contact my office, 021 447 6020, or email me, charles@psfa.org.za. But the best way to donate, if you can, is via our website.
Okay.
Set up right.
PSFA.coza.
Yeah. No, .org.
.org.za. All right. We'll throw all these details up on our website where you can go and have a click through. All right, Charles, amazing work, sir.
Big thank you to all of you guys for the opportunity to talk about our organization. I really appreciate
Anytime.
We're going to talk a lot more, don't worry.
Thank you, Charles.
it. Thank you.
May Money Madness with Lotto Star on KFM 94.5. T's and C's on kfm.co.za.